Good morning, everybody. So it's nice to see so many people here after so nice reception yesterday. So at first I would like to thank Kai and Tarmo for this excellent possibility of having this nice workshop. I have been myself involved in this Gulf of Finland cooperation, I think, from almost the beginning or from the beginning. So I have been working with different topics here. So it's nice to see that we can have now continue that, and it's really nice to see people for a while, not only foreign guests, but our own colleagues from other institutes. So we have not seen for a year for now or something. So when preparing for this conference, we were thinking that what we can present here. And I decided to pick the topic we have been now working for some time, for some years now. It is the blue growth, and everything what is connected to that is quite good and high topic nowadays. And there are several very known and important subjects in this bigger topic. And besides wind parks and other developments, the aquaculture things seems to be very high on the agenda almost everywhere. Especially in Estonia, we have a case at the moment that this seems to be something which is interests a lot, both developers, ministry officials, and also scientists nowadays. So I will be talking about a couple of, we have several projects ended and a couple of projects running at the moment, which are all connected to this subject. So this will be like a compilation of different things here. So what is status with aquaculture in Estonia? So we have about 50 companies who are registered, who have licenses for aquaculture. Among them, 24 are, this is data from 2019, so quite reasonable fresh. So we have 24 enterprises who have license for cultivating fish, and about 20 who have licenses to cultivate crayfish. So on this map you see the dots, every dot is a one license, and you can see that most of them except one are located on mainland. So the one is, it is truly marine one, is located in northern coast of Saaremaa. And they have been working there, or this license and this production has been there for quite many years by now. And what kind of aquaculture we have? You see from the table below that it has been rising from year to year, but it's still quite modest, so about 1,000 tons per year altogether. The main cultivated fish is rainbow trout, which compose about 90% of the whole amount. Others are very much smaller amounts. So, but that's a situation before. So, and this is a map taken from our Marine Spatial Plan, which is going to be endorsed very soon, this month or December or January. And the marked there, the shaded polygons are applications for building permit, so which are already submitted. And these are mostly two things. These are wind parks and aquaculture. And you can see that there is actually over, I think that there is 15, 16 locations where we have now applications for fish farms. Some of the locations include several applications, so some guys are thinking that it's a good idea to put several companies or several applications beside each other. So, and the total amount of production for this, if you just sum everything up, it's over 30,000 tons. So compare that we have like 1,000 so far, and it's over 30,000 applications. So actually it shows that there is a really huge interest to develop this topic. And you can see that there are some of the locations are also in Gulf of Finland, but there is also locations in Gulf of Riga, which is the southernmost is a combination of wind park and aquaculture, which is also quite interesting case. And then there are several applications facing the open Baltic. So what are those applications? These are actually a mixture of very different technologies. So you can have, nowadays aquaculture technologies are many different ways how to do that. You can have a land-based fish farms, and actually there's besides many truly terrestrial land-based ones, there is one application which is located close to the sea. So idea is to use seawater for aquaculture, but still it is land-based one. So this can be quite big one. Then this traditional, the very traditional ones, these are open net farming. So this is like you have a big net cage put in the water, you have fish in it. So there is natural ventilation by water, so water movement. So, but obviously it's also that everything which is left over from this fish production, which is also, it also goes to the environment. And then there are some new versions, that like a floating bag concept. This is a Norwegian new technology, which actually it's like it's located in the sea, but it's like semi-closed. So it uses seawater, but it's also there's a possibility of filtering the water, treating the water, so its environmental impact is much lower. And finally, there is of course one of the Estonian applications is based on the ship-based concept. So there's the basic idea is that you have like somewhere in the sea you have a anchored bigger ship or construction which is like ship, which can be moved if needed, can be repositioned if needed, and so on. So again, everything is contained in a one hull, so it's easy to treat and to manage the thing. So of course it's much more expensive than the open traditional versions, but this still has much lower impact on environment potentially. So okay, we have a big number of applications, but as it's not only Estonian officials, but I heard also that the Finnish and in other countries, officials have a problem with issuing those licenses, because all Baltic Sea countries have agreed that we will not pollute Baltic Sea more than we are doing it now, or actually we have agreed that we will cut down the nutrient loading. So there is a problem. So how to do it? You have on the one side, you have obviously interest in developing of this blue economy. You have huge interest from developers, investors to use this resource, what we have, these sea areas. But on the other hand, we have agreed that we will not pollute more. So we have to find the solutions how to come out of this issue. And there might be a solution, but or one of the possible solutions, and this is integrated multitrophic aquaculture systems. What is it? Basically, it's actually the idea when you combine in one aquaculture unit different organisms or different trophic organisms belonging to different trophic groups. So the idea is that what is left over from one type of organisms is consumed by others. And if you combine like finfish, benthic deposit feeders, filter feeders, and algae, so potentially the idea is that you can actually consume most of the nutrients you are actually adding to the seawater. This concept is not very new, so this has been around for quite a long time. We don't have in the Baltic similar applications so far. There are reasons for that. The main reason, I think, is that okay, we know what to do with fish, but we have no idea what to do with algae or mussels or other organisms which can be part of this system. So there is no market demand for that, so there is little interest from investors to do that. But now, in these new conditions, that we actually have a wish to have this finfish farming, and we have obviously have a money around, so and we have also some possibility of regulating something, so there might be a chance. And also the new developments, we have been working in different projects now that there are coming slowly new applications also for other species, not only fish. So we are learning how to use mussels, we are learning how to use our algae and other things. So combination of that might help. Okay, some ideas or some results here. This is a work by my colleague. This is a modeled estimation of Mytilus or blue mussel farm productivity, and it's a map of, we have a map for the whole Estonian Sea area. This is an extract for the Gulf of Finland. So you can see that there's a possibility of having a quite good yield of Mytilus from the long lines, so up to 2 kilos per meter of line, so which is actually quite a lot. So, and this is how it was modeled. So it's basically relationships between basic environmental factors were used to model it on the spatially. So you have differences in different areas. The similar modeling was done for algae, and here is an example for ulva. Ulva is a quite interesting species and very perspective for aquaculture purposes. It's growing quite fast. It assimilates nutrients very fast, and so it's and this is also similar kind of modeling exercise for open or free growth of for free growing of ulva in the water. So you can see again there are different areas which seem to have better conditions for that, but this is in the open sea. So. And this is how it was modeled. So the percentages here below the graphs show what is the environmental factors which actually are responsible for how much they are, how important they are for this algae. So you can see that for ulva, the sun radiance, temperature, and nitrogen seem to be the most important things to have to be fulfilled. So then we have tested land-based setups. So we had a project which is ended now, but it was quite interesting. We used tried treating of fish farm effluents by cultivating macroalgae, and actually achieved nice results. So we had on northern coast of Saaremaa Island, we had a big setup of it was like a mixture of fish farm and algae farm. So we had one tank stuffed with fish, and then we had this effluent there. It was like normal fish farm working, and then we treated it, pumped it through the macroalgae, or we tested different species. But finally, and this is how it's in work. And finally, we got quite nice results. Ulva turned out to be the best species to be used. It has a high nutrient uptake, fast growth, long vegetative period, so can grow unattached and so on. So it's very good species to use in this kind of setups. And we achieved the best conditions, like 4% biomass growth per 24 hours, which is actually quite big. But in literature, you can achieve even more. So yeah, that was one. So actually, this very perspective algae to use in this kind of setups. Then we had this year, it was a desktop study, but we, together with a Norwegian colleague, me and Jonne Kotta, we were participating in that setup, in that study, modeling algae and mussels. So, and we concentrated in this study on this new technology of these floating bags, and actually came up with some very nice calculations. So both for mussels and algae. So you can actually include in the cascade system finfish, mussels, and macroalgae, and you actually achieve quite, okay, I will skip that. I'm just getting, my clock shows 2 minutes, but you said, okay. So I will skip these. This is actually, I'll go to one of the final slides. So finally, we achieved that compared to current requirements we have in our Water Act, that we have a certain limit how much nutrients you can put in the water for per 1 kilo of fish. So using this combination, tanks with water filtration, with mussels and with algae, we are able to cut down the nitrogen effluents by 60% and phosphorus up to almost 90%. So actually it is quite good setup. Besides that, we have a quite big amount of biomass, both Mytilus and ulva produced, so we can actually something to use. And conclusions, so it seems that this integrated multitrophic aquaculture concept might be a perspective thing nowadays. It can be applied in very different aquaculture setups, and it would be nice to have the experimental setup, having actually near real size farm to use it and to test it. And of course, the separate studies and separate work should be done with how to utilize the produced mussel and algae biomass from there. But there are also some options for that. So, okay, thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, Martin, very much for the nice description about the situation of aquaculture in Estonia, and also, it's working, about the possible ways how to solve the problem with the nutrient loading related to this, maybe increased production. But now there is time for one question. Please.
Sorry that I have so many questions, because I'm MSP specialist, so it's very interesting concept that is proposed there. Do you know about some financial, maybe not financial support from the governments of the European countries, or maybe out non-European countries to promote such a technology of multi-use of,
No, actually, nowadays there are different European instruments to utilize here. So there are different funding systems also for this developing of new approaches in aquaculture. Actually, we have been using these exactly for these projects here. These are national, or they are European money, but distributed nationally. I'm sure there's possibilities also for international funding to look for that. For example, Horizon New Call at the moment, we are also participating in one proposal where there is exactly, which is directed for this development of this new marine food, so types of things. So there are several possibilities for that.
Okay, thank you very much. Applause once again.
Thank you.